Barcelona Sporting Club is an Ecuadorian sports club based in Guayaquil, known best for its professional football team. They currently play in the Ecuadorian Serie A, the highest level of football in the country, and hold the distinction of being them to have never been relegated. Barcelona is the most successful football team in Ecuador, having won the Serie A title a record 14 times, most recently in 2012. They have also won 6 regional titles, and were the first Ecuadorian club to make it to the Copa Libertadores finals, having done so twice. Barcelona was founded on May 1, 1925, by Nuno Tavares, a Spanish immigrant who named the club after his home city of Barcelona. Since then, Barcelona has become the most popular club in the country. The club holds a long-standing rivalry with Emelec, where matches between the two teams are referred to as El Clásico del Astillero. The club plays the home matches in Estadio Monumental Banco Pichincha, the largest stadium in the country. In addition to football, the club has teams in professional basketball, bowling, boxing, swimming, volleyball, baseball, athletics, and tennis. In 2008, its basketball team was the champion in the Ecuadorian National Basketball League. History, foundation and early years. Barcelona Sporting Club was founded on May 1, 1925 by Nuno Tavares, a Spanish immigrant who decided to name the club after his home city of Barcelona, Spain. The team was named after Tavares' return to Ecuador. BSC Sparker-like crest was adopted later on. The team competed in the provincial amateur tournament organized by Asociación de Fútbol del Guayas, which included clubs from around the Guayas province in Ecuador. During the 1940s, Barcelona's popularity grew thanks in part to notoriety achieved by playing matches against important Colombian teams such as Deportivo Cali and Millonarios, two of the best teams from Colombia's golden era of football. Barcelona defeated Millonarios twice in Guayaquil, by scores of 3-2 and 1-0. In 1950, Barcelona won the first AFG amateur title. The following year, the association turned professional, and between 1951 and 1967, Barcelona racked up 5 professional regional titles and finished as runners-up 6 times, tying crosstown rival Emelec for the most titles. In 1957, as one of the top 2 finishers in the Guayas regional tournament, Barcelona was invited to participate in the newly organized Serie A de Ecuador, which would crown a national championship from among the top 2 teams from both the AFG and the Interandino tournament, disputed by teams from Quito and Ambato. Barcelona finished second in the first participation. Barcelona won its first national title in 1960, and became the first Ecuadorian team to compete in the Copa Libertadores. First match, June 15, 1925 versus Ayacucho. First international match, March 19, 1931 versus Deportivo Cali. Success, then fall from grace. By the 1970s, Barcelona had established themselves as one of Ecuador's more popular teams after winning a number of provincial and national championships. Despite the national success, the performance in the Copa Libertadores had been lackluster, having exited the tournament early in competition. That changed in 1971, when they reached the semi-finals of the tournament with a star-studded squad that featured players such as Brazilian international José Pais, Peruvian World Cup player Pedro Pablo Leon, and Ecuadorian legend Alberto Spencer. Although they failed to reach the finals, at that time Estudiantes de La Plata was undefeated 4 years in a row in home matches in Copa Libertadores. They managed to defeat three-time tournament winner Estudiantes de La Plata 1-0 in La Plata. Later it would be recognized as La Hazana de La Plata. In 1972, they reached the semi-finals again, establishing themselves in the international stage. The first 2 years of the decade were in stark contrast to the remainder. After the 1972 season, the club entered a dry spell that would last 9 years. Barcelona did not win a national title, nor did it qualify for the Copa Libertadores, until the 1980s. Resurgence. In the 1980s, Barcelona shed the shackles of the prior decade and resurged on the international and domestic fronts. In 1980, the team won the first national title since 1971, going on to win 4 more before the end of the decade, making the 1980s the team's most successful period in terms of national titles. Barcelona became the first Ecuadorian squad to win 10 national championships. During this period, Barcelona competed in 6 editions of the Copa Libertadores, reaching the semi-finals twice in 1986 and 1987. In 1987, Barcelona inaugurated a new home ground, the Estadio Monumental, with a capacity of almost 90,000 spectators. The Monumental is the largest stadium in Ecuador, and the second largest in South America, after the Estadio de Maracana in Rio de Janeiro. The glory years, the team's most brilliant era, came into place in the 1990s. In 1990, under a new president, and with the firm intention of conquering the Libertadores Cup, the club acquired key international players. Former Argentine international and World Cup champion in 1986 Marcelo Trobiani, Argentine international Alberto Acosta, and Uruguayan Marcelo Saralegui. With the inclusion of the foreign players and a batch of young as well as experienced Ecuadorian players, they played a fantastic tournament. In 1990 Copa Libertadores edition, a dramatical semi-final home and away series, Barcelona beat River Plate of Argentina in a penalty shootout, to finally reach the long-awaited final. Unfortunately, they would come short, losing against Olimpia of 2-0 in the away game, and tying 1-1 in the home game. Many considered the referee had affected the outcome in favor of the Paraguayan team, but with the runner-up title, they would finally be considered among the best and most respected teams in South America. In 1992, they put together another great team, beating the previous champions Colo-Colo and reaching the Libertadores Cup semi-finals once again, but losing against the powerful Brazilian team of São Paulo, who at the time was coached by Tele Santana. Among the stars, São Paulo had players such as Zeti, Cafu, Ray, Muller and Palhinha. This decade also proved to show a negative side in the team's history. On December 26, 1993, 3 days after Barcelona had achieved the second place in the Ecuadorian League and earning a spot in the next Libertadores Cup, Ecuadorian striker Carlos Munoz died in a car accident at the age of 26. After winning the Ecuadorian League title in 1997 with the help of such players as former Bolivian international Marco El Diablo Echeverri, former Colombian international Anthony El Pipa de Avila and former Ecuadorian international Agustin Tin Delgado, they would go on to play the 1998 Libertadores Cup with mostly old players that seemed to be on the way out. But against all odds, they would reach the second Libertadores Cup final, losing both championship games against Brazilian team Vasco da Gama, 2-0 in the away game and 2-1 in the home game. Title drought. Barcelona did not win a national title for 14 years since 1997, and participated in only 2 editions of the Copa Libertadores in the 2000s. Despite the lack of titles in recent years, the club remains among the most successful teams in the league, having managed 3 Serie A runners-up finishes in the decade. Barcelona continues to be among the top contributors to the Ecuadorian national team, and remains one of the most popular teams in Ecuador. The derby with crosstown team Emelec remains the most popular football rivalry in Ecuador. Maruri and Habira. During November 2007, Eduardo Maruri was elected president of Barcelona for the 2007-11 period. Maruri and Noboa introduced the slogan La Renovation, thereby promising to bring in key international players as well as the best Ecuadorian players and to clean up the mess that had prevented Barcelona from winning the national title. However, the 2009 season was Barcelona's worst season in its history in the Serie A. Such teams as Deportivo Quito, Espoli, Deportivo Cuenca and LDU Portoviejo came out and spoke about the concern. If Barcelona were relegated, it would enormously impact those teams' economic situations, since when they would play at home against Barcelona it would almost guarantee a sellout. On October 3, 2009, more than 70,000 fans showed up at the Estadio Monumental Banco del Pichincha to support El Ídolo del Ecuador so that it would not be relegated to the Serie B in an intense match. Barcelona defeated LDU Portoviejo 2-0 with goals from José Luis Perlaza and Juan Samudio. This allowed Barcelona to remain the only Ecuadorian team that has never played a game in Serie B. On November 5, 2009, Barcelona's president Eduardo Maruri announced the hiring of a multimedia communications group from Spain, MediaPro, to help them as a consultant and guide them through the new decade in the aspects of advertisement, finance, and sport. This was done with the hope of bringing Barcelona back to international prominence and giving the fans what they most desired, the elusive 14th domestic title. However, Eduardo Maruri resigned the presidency of Barcelona during a surprise press conference on December 22, 2010, stating that he was doing so because of family issues. Maruri was resigning 1 year before the scheduled completion of his term. After Maruri resigned, Juan Carlos Estrada was designated as the new president of Barcelona. Estrada also resigned the next day and Alfonso Harb-Viteri assumed the presidency. Harb stated that he was going to step down as president and announced that Barcelona's presidential elections would be held on June 11 of the following year. Noboa era. The businessman Antonio Noboa, with his slogan Primero Barcelona, defeated his opponent José Herrera and was sworn as the new president of Barcelona S.C. on June 11, 2011. During the Noboa era, Barcelona managed to win the 2012 Serie A, ending a 14-year without a title. Ceballos era. Former goalkeeper José Francisco Ceballos assumed the presidency of Barcelona on December 13, 2015 against Universidad Católica in Barcelona's home stadium, El Monumental. His term will end in 2020. Colors and badge. The crest of Barcelona has changed over the years. The team's first crest consisted of a modified version of the city of Barcelona's coat of arms in dark blue borders. The team used this crest for 2 years until 1927. In 1935, the first major change came when they used Barcelona's flag in a circle, with a triangle behind it bearing the team's initials. In 1955, after the team won the first Guayas championship, the team adopted their current crest. which is similar to FC Barcelona's. Changes they made to it included the number of spikes, the color of the ball, border color, and the initials. Uniform evolution. The team's traditional colors are yellow and black, with the home kit being all yellow since the mid-1950s. Prior to that, the teams used to play in black and white kits. For a period early in the history, the team used a kit similar to FC Barcelona's, but after a series of losses in that uniform, the team president swore never to wear those colors again. In the 1940s, yellow was introduced, and would eventually become the team's primary color. Replacing white altogether, black would become the secondary color used in their alternate kit. Stadium. Barcelona has played in 3 stadiums. The first stadium was Estadio George Capwell, with whom they shared with crosstown rival Emelec, as it was the only stadium in Guayaquil. In 1959, they moved to the Guayaquil's brand new stadium, Estadio Modelo. This was the stadium in which the teams played in during the golden years. For several years, Barcelona shared this stadium with Emelec and Patria. After Estadio Modelo's success, the president of Barcelona, Isidro Romero Carbo, initiated the project to give Barcelona their own stadium. Romero talked with Jaime Nebot, Guayaquil's mayor, and Leon Febres Cordero, then president of Ecuador, about the idea. They decided to help. Nebot donated a huge grant for construction, and Febres Cordero helped him with money. In 1986, Romero put up the first block of the stadium in 1986. In 1987, Estadio Monumental opened for the first time. The stadium was the first in Ecuador to have suites, and became the largest in terms of capacity, with space for close to 90,000 fans. Recently, the team signed a 10-year deal with Latin America Football Corporation to install a state-of-the-art LED perimeter board in the Estadio Monumental Banco Pichincha. The 243-meter LED perimeter board was installed in September 2008, and is the first LED perimeter board in an Ecuadorian soccer stadium. The deal is a 50-50 partnership between the two groups. On July 12, 2015, a giant LED perimeter board was debuted in the Estadio Monumental Banco Pichincha, the biggest in South America. Supporters. Barcelona has the largest fan base of any team in Ecuador, and is the only team in Ecuador that has fans from every city in the country. When Barcelona plays against other rivalries in other cities apart from his home stadium in Guayaquil, it seems like Barcelona is the host because of so many followers that show up to the stadium to root for Barcelona. Barcelona's ultras are known as La Sur Oscura. During home matches, they are located in the southern end of the Estadio Monumental. In Quito, Barcelona's ultras are known as Sur Oscura Quito. Another Barcelona's ultra are known as Zona Norte, and many more from different parts of the country. Rivalries. El Clásico del Astillero is a match played against Barcelona's old rival Emelec. It was not until August 22, 1943 that the two sides faced each other for the first time in a Guayaquil League match. Sporting the distinctive yellow jerseys, Los Canarios defeated El Electrico 4-3, with Pedro Villalta scoring a late winner for Barcelona. It was a match that would forever be remembered as the derby of the posts due to the number of times that the Emelec forwards struck the woodwork. In 1948, the local derby received a name of its own in a preview in the newspaper El Universo, becoming known forevermore as El Clásico del Astillero. In 1990, proved to be a very special year in the history of El Clásico del Astillero, with the two sides facing off in a Copa Libertadores quarter-final second leg on August 29. Barcelona advanced to the semi-finals after a 1-0 win. The rivalries between these two teams was immense in Ecuador and international that it caught the eye of international filmmaker Filmadora Panamericana, and in 1973 a movie was made titled El Derecho de los Bobos, starring Spanish-Mexican actor Enrique Rambal, Mexican actor Enrique Rocha and Ecuadorian soccer player Alberto Spencer. Proclaimed the best Ecuadorian soccer player of all times, makes his cinema debut. This rivalry has gained special significance with the recent success of both teams in Serie A play, with Barcelona winning in 2012, and Emelec winning in 2013 and 2014. The 2014 championship was decided by a 3-0 Emelec win over Barcelona. Honors: Regional Campeonato Amateur del Guayas, 1950. Campeonato Profesional de Guayaquil, 1955, 1961, 1963, 1965, 1967. National Serie A, 1960, 1963, 1966, 1970, 1971, 1980, 1981, 1985, 1987, 1989, 1991, 1995, 1997, 2012. Copa Libertadores, 1990, 1998. Players. Current squad. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Managers. Current technical staff. Notable managers list according to each manager that has won or title: Ramon Unamuno, Graydon, Pablo Ansaldo, Otto Vieira, Paulo Paletto, Ronaldo Filho, Luis Santibanez, Roque Gaston Maspoli, Miguel Brindisi, Salvador Capitano, Ruben Insua, Gustavo Costas.